Hello all, I am Akash PS from Vellore Institute of Technology. Today we will get to know about what is adapter pattern. Before get to know about what is adapter pattern, let's see first what is design patterns. Design patterns are typical solutions to common problems in software design. Each pattern is like a blueprint that you can customize to solve a particular design problem in your code. There are three types of design patterns: creational, structural, and behavioral. Creational patterns are designed for class instantiation. They can be either class creation patterns or object creational patterns. Structural patterns are designed with regard to a class structure and composition. The main goal of most of these patterns is to increase the functionality of the classes involved without changing much of its composition. Behavioral patterns are designed depending on how one class communicates with others. So these are the patterns. In creational patterns, there are factory method, builder, abstract factory pattern, and singleton patterns. In structural patterns, there are adapter pattern, decorator pattern, facade pattern, and proxy pattern. And in behavior patterns, there are observer pattern, strategy patterns, command pattern, state pattern, chain of responsibility pattern, and visitor pattern. So today we will see about this adapter pattern. What is adapter pattern? Adapter pattern is something that converts the interface of a class into another interface that clients expect. Adapter lets classes work together that couldn't otherwise because of incompatible interfaces. They are also known as wrapper. We'll see why it is. So to understand the concept of adapter, here we see a simple example. Here this plug is called a client and this is a adaptee. Here client needs the service of the adaptee, but it cannot work together with this adaptee because of their different interfaces, which is incompatible with this adaptee, which is a socket. So to make it so so to make them work together, we will use this adapter pattern, which will convert this client, uh, which will make them to work together. Here client needs to get the service. Here client needs to get the service from the adaptee, which is incompatible and cannot interact directly with this adaptee. So we are using this adapter to make them to work together. So to use an adapter, the client makes a request to the adapter by calling a method on it using the target interface. The adapter translates that request on the adaptee using the adaptee interface. Client receives the results of the call and is unaware of adapter's presence. Adapter pattern can be implemented using two different methods, which are class adapter and object adapter. Here in class adapter, target is a class which needs a feature of adaptee class, but due to its incompatibility issues, it cannot work together. So to make this adaptee to work together with this target one, we using adapter. So this implementation is done through the inheritance. This adapter thing is working using the inheritance property. The implementation is done through this implementation. Implementation is done through inheritance. So in class adapter, it allows overwriting, but it can't adapt the subclasses of adaptee. Whereas object adapter is similar to the class adapter. The thing is that here adapter uses a here adapter instantiates object of the adaptee and work. This is how the implementation takes place here. So basically, in object adapter pattern, the adapter holds an instance of adaptee, whereas in class adapter pattern, it uses inheritance instead of composition, but we may require multiple inheritance to implement it. In object adapter, it can't override, but it can adapt subclasses of the adaptee. Here it is adaptee. This is adaptee. So what are the applicability of adapter pattern? Patterns are used when we want to use an existing class and its interface does not match the one we need. It also can be used when we want to create a reusable class that cooperates with unrelated or unforeseen classes, that is, classes that don't necessarily have compatible interfaces. We can also use the adapter pattern when we need to use several existing subclasses, but it's impractical to adapt their interface by subclassing everyone. An object adapter can adapt the interface of its parent class. This is only applicable for the object adapter pattern only. Object adapter method only. So what is pluggable adapter? It is an interface adaptation lets us incorporate our class into existing systems that might expect different interfaces to the class. Pluggable adapter are classes with built-in interface adaptation. What is two-way adapters? A potential problems with the adapters is that they aren't transparent to all clients. An adapted object no longer conforms to the adaptee interface, so it can be used as is whenever an adaptee object can. Two-way adapters can provide such transparency. Specifically, they are useful when two different clients need to view an object differently. So let's see a real example for this adapter pattern. Here, this drawing editor is a client and this shape class is a target one, which needs to work with this text view. So basically, this is a drawing editor that lets users to draw and arrange graphical elements such as lines, polygons, text, etc. into pictures and diagrams. So it has a class shape which needs a feature of text view, but it can't accommodate this. Text view cannot work with this shape class because of its different interface. So here this text shape is an adapter which tries to adapt this text view class according to the target class shape. So this diagram illustrates the object adapter case. It shows how bounding box requests declared in class shape are converted to get extent requests defined in text view. Since text shape adapts text view to the shape interface, the drawing in editor can reuse the otherwise incompatible text view class. Often the adapter is responsible for functionality the adapted class doesn't provide. The diagram shows how an adapter can fulfill such responsibilities. The user should be able to drag every shape object to a new location interactively, but TextView isn't designed to do that. Text shape can add this missing functionality by implementing shapes create manipulator operation which returns an instance of an appropriate manipulator subclass. Manipulator is an abstract class for objects that know how to animate a shape in response to user input, like dragging the shape to new location. There are subclasses of manipulator for different shapes. Text manipulator, for example, is the corresponding subclass for text shape. By returning a text manipulator instance, text shape adds the functionality that text view lacks but shape requires. So what are the advantages of adapter pattern? They helps achieve reusability and flexibility. Client class is not complicated by having to use a different interface and can use polymorphism to swap between different implementations of adapters. And the disadvantages of the adapter class are all requests are forwarded, so there is a slight increase in the overhead. Sometimes many adaptations are required along an adapter chain to reach the type which is required. So thank you.